The World's Billionaires is an annual ranking of the world's wealthiest people, compiled and published by the American business magazine Forbes every March. The total net worth of each individual on the list is estimated in United States dollars based on their assets and accounting for debt. Royalty and dictators whose wealth comes from the positions are excluded from these lists. The list has been published annually in March since 1987. Microsoft founder Bill Gates has topped the list 17 of the past 22 years, including the 2016 list. In 2015, there was a record of 1,826 people on the list that included a record 290 newcomers, with 71 from China, 57 from the US, 28 from India and Germany with 23. People under 40 had 46 join the list. A record of 197 women were on the list. The average net worth of the listed came in at $3.86 billion, down $60 million from 2014. Added together, the total net worth for 2015's Billionaires was $7.1 trillion, up from $6.4 trillion in 2014. Methodology. Each year, Forbes employs a team of more than 50 reporters from a variety of countries to track the activity of the world's wealthiest individuals. Preliminary surveys are sent to those who may qualify for the list. According to Forbes, they received 3 types of responses. Some people try to inflate the wealth, others cooperate but leave out details, and some refuse to answer any questions. Business deals are then scrutinized and estimates of valuable assets, land, homes, vehicles, artwork, etc., are made. Interviews are conducted to vet the figures and get a better idea of an individual's holdings. Finally, positions in publicly traded stock are priced to market on a date roughly a month before publication. Privately held companies are priced by the prevailing price-to-revenue or price-to-earnings ratios. Known debt is subtracted from assets to get a final estimate of an individual's estimated worth in United States dollars. Since stock prices fluctuate rapidly, an individual's true wealth and ranking at the time of publication may vary from the situation when the list was compiled. Family fortunes dispersed over a large number of individuals are included only if those individuals' holdings are worth more than $1 billion. However, when a living individual has dispersed his or her wealth to immediate family members, it is included under a single listing provided that individual is still living. Royalty and dictators are always excluded from the list's annual rankings. For the 3rd year in a row, Bill Gates was named the richest man in the world by Forbes magazine's annual list of the world's billionaires. This is the 17th time that the founder of Microsoft has claimed the top spot. Amancio Ortega rose from last year's position of number 4 to 2nd. Warren Buffett of Berkshire Hathaway slipped down from last year's 3rd position to 4th, while Mexican telecommunication mogul Carlos Slim declined from last year's 2nd position to 7th. Jeff Bezos of Amazon, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook and Michael Bloomberg of Bloomberg LP appear for the first time on the top 10 billionaires list, coming at 3rd, 5th and 8th position, respectively. Zuckerberg became the youngest top 5 billionaire this year at the age of 31. Larry Ellison, Charles Koch and David Koch also slipped down from the last year's positions, with Larry dropping to 7th from 6th and the Kochs falling to 9th position from 6th respectively. Lillian Bettencourt remains at position 10 for the 2nd consecutive year, if otherwise Koch's accounts on singular 9th position. 2015 Bill Gates was named the richest man in the world by Forbes magazine's annual list of the world's billionaires. This was the 16th time that the founder of Microsoft claimed the top spot. Carlos Slim came in second for the second consecutive time. Warren Buffett of Berkshire Hathaway was placed third, while Amancio Ortega of Spain slipped down a position from last year to number 4. Larry Ellison, the founder of Oracle, rounded off the top 5. Christy Walton was the highest-ranking female at number 8. America's Evan Spiegel, co-founder of photo messaging app Snapchat, became the youngest billionaire this year at the age of 24. At age 100, David Rockefeller maintained his position as the oldest billionaire to make the list. In the 29th annual list of global billionaires, a record 1,826 billionaires were named with an aggregated net worth of $7.1 trillion compared to $6.4 trillion last year. 46 of the billionaires on the list are under the age of 40. A record number of 290 people joined the list for the first time, of whom 25% hail from China, which produced a world-leading 71 newcomers. The United States came in second, with 57, followed by India, with 28, and Germany, with 23. Mark Zuckerberg, the social media magnate and founder of Facebook, was placed at number 16 with $33.4 billion. Self-made billionaires made up the largest number of people on the list with 1,191 positions, while just 230 have wealth through inheritance. The number of billionaires who inherited a portion but are still working to increase their fortunes is 405. The United States has the largest number of billionaires with 526. Russia went down to 88 from 111 in 2014. Russia is now placed behind China, Germany and India by the number billionaires. Iceland has a billionaire, Thorbjörn Gulfsson, in the list after a gap of 5 years. Guatemala has a billionaire, Mario Lopez Estrada, for the first time in its history. 2014, Bill Gates, founder of Microsoft, added $9 billion to his fortune since 2013 and topped the 2014 billionaire list. He has topped the list 15 of the previous 20 years, but was last number 1 in 2009. Mexican telecommunication mogul Carlos Slim came in second place after being number 1 the previous 4 years. Zara founder Amancio Ortega placed third for the second consecutive year. American investor Warren Buffett was in the top 5 for the 20th consecutive year, placing fourth. America's Christy Walton was the highest-ranking female, placing 9th overall. Aliko Dangote of Nigeria became the first African ever to enter the top 25, with an estimated net worth of $25 billion. A total of 1,645 people made the 2014 billionaire list, representing combined wealth of $6.4 trillion. Of those, a record 268 were newcomers, surpassing 2008's 226 newcomers. 100 people listed in 2013 failed to make the list. The number of women on the list rose to a record 172 in 2014. Approximately 66% of the list was self-made, 13% achieved the wealth through inheritance alone, and 21% through a mixture of the two. The United States had 492 billionaires on the list, the most of any country. The country also had the most newcomers with 50, and women with 54. China had the second most billionaires with 152, while Russia was third with 111. Algeria, Lithuania, Tanzania, and Uganda were all represented on the list for the first time. Turkey saw the most people drop off the list, 19, due to higher inflation in the country. 2013 Carlos Slim topped the 2013 billionaire list, marking his fourth consecutive year at the top. Bill Gates remained in second, while Amancio Ortega moved up to third. Ortega's gain of $19.5 billion was the largest of anyone on the list. Warren Buffett failed to make the top three for the first time since 2000, placing fourth. Diesel founder Renzo Rosso was among the top newcomers, debuting with an estimate net worth of $3 billion. A global rise in asset prices led Forbes editor Randall Lane to declare it a very good year to be a billionaire. However, it was not a good year to be Ike Battista, who fell from 7th to 100th, suffering the largest net loss of anyone on the list. Overall, net gainers outnumbered net losers by 4 to 1. A record total of 1,426 people made the 2013 list, representing $5.4 trillion of assets. Of those, 442 billionaires hailed from the United States. The Asian-Pacific region had 386 billionaires and Europe 366. The list also featured a record number of newcomers, 210, representing 42 different countries. 60 people from the 2012 list fell below $1 billion of assets in 2013 and 8 others from the 2012 list died. The Asia-Pacific region had the most drop-offs, with 29, followed by the United States with 16. The 2013 list featured 138 women, of which 50 came from the United States. A majority of the list was entirely self-made, 184 inherited the wealth, and 281 achieved their fortune through a combination of inheritance and business acumen. 2012 Carlos Slim topped the 2012 list, marking this third consecutive year at the top. Bill Gates placed second, but narrowed the gap from 2011 as Slim's fortune fell $5 billion while Gates rose $5 billion. Warren Buffett remained in third place. Bernard Arnault of France was the top-ranking European on the list, placing fourth. Ricardo Salinas Pliego was the greatest gainer in terms of dollars, adding $9.2 billion to his fortune and moving up to number 37 overall. Making her debut on the list at age 27, Spanx founder Sarah Blakely became the youngest self-made female billionaire ever. Colombia's Alejandro Santo Domingo was the highest-ranked newcomer, inheriting a $9.5 billion stake in Santo Domingo Group from his father. India's Lakshmi Mittal was the largest loser as his fortune dropped from $31.1 billion to $20.7 billion as the price of steel maker ArcelorMittal fell sharply. As a result, he failed to make the top 10 for the first time since 2004 and lost his title of richest Asian to Hong Kong's Li Ka-shing. A record total of 1,226 people made the 2012 list, representing 58 different countries. Of those, 126 were newcomers to the list and 104 were women. The United States had the greatest number of billionaires with 425. Russia had 96 people on the list, while China had 95. Georgia, Morocco, and Peru were newly represented on the list. Falling stock prices in Asia contributed to 117 former billionaires falling from the list worldwide. 12 others listed in 2011 died. Overall, net gainers barely outnumbered net losers. To coincide with the release of the 2012 list, Forbes announced a new billionaire real-time ticker, updating the wealth of the world's top 50 billionaires in real time. 2011 Carlos Slim added $20.5 billion to his fortune, the most of anyone, and retained his number one ranking with a total fortune of $74 billion. Bill Gates remained in second place with $56 billion, while Warren Buffett was third with $50 billion. The top 10 had a combined wealth of $406 billion, up from $342 billion in 2010. According to Forbes editor Kerry Dolan, media and technology billionaires definitely benefited from a stronger stock market and a growing enthusiasm for all things social since the 2010 list. However, Nigerian commodity mogul Aliko Dangote was the greatest gainer on a percentage basis as his fortune increased 557% to $13.5 billion. Mark Zuckerberg was one of 7 Facebook-related billionaires on the list, as he $9.5 billion to his fortune to move up to 52nd. Facebook co-founder Dustin Moskovitz was the youngest person on the list, aged 26, 8 days younger than Zuckerberg. He debuted number 420 with an estimated fortune of $2.7 billion. IKEA founder Ingvar Kamprad was the largest loser as he saw his fortune plummet from $23 billion to $6 billion, dropping him from 11th to 162nd overall. A record 1,210 billionaires made the 2011 list, representing a combined wealth of $4.5 trillion, up from $3.6 trillion the previous year. One-third of the world's billionaires, 413, came from the United States. China had the second most billionaires with 115, while Russia was third with 101. Asia moved up to 332 billionaires, passing Europe as a region for the first time since the 1990s. The 2011 list included 214 newcomers, and the average net worth of those on it increased to $3.7 billion. 2010 Carlos Slim narrowly eclipsed Bill Gates to top the billionaire list for the first time. Slim saw his estimated worth surge $18.5 billion to $53.5 billion as shares of America Mobil rose 35%. Gates' estimated wealth rose $13 billion to $53 billion, placing him second. Warren Buffett was third with $47 billion. Christy Walton was the highest-ranking woman, placing 12th overall, with an inherited fortune of $22.5 billion. At age 25, Mark Zuckerberg was the world's youngest billionaire. American Isaac Perlmutter was among the top newcomers with an estimated fortune at $4 billion acquired in his sale of Marvel Entertainment to Disney. A total of 1,011 people made the 2010. The United States accounted for 403 billionaires, followed by China with 89 and Russia with 62. It was the first time China, which includes Hong Kong, placed second. A total of 55 countries were represented on the 2010 list, including Finland and Pakistan, which claimed the first billionaires. 89 women made the list, but only 14 of them were self-made. The combined net worth of the list was $3.6 trillion, up 50% from 2009's $2.4 trillion, while the average net worth was $3.5 billion. The 2010 list featured 164 re-entries and 97 true newcomers. Asia accounted for more than 100 of the new entrants. Overall, just 12% of the list lost wealth since 2009, and 30 people fell off the list. 13 others died. Of the 89 women, 12 were newcomers in 2010. Steve Forbes said the growing number of billionaires was a clear sign that the world's economy was recovering from 2009's global financial crisis. 2009, 2008, 2007, 2006, 2005, 2004 each hold an essentially equal share in Walmart. Had he been alive in 2004, Sam Walton would have been the world's wealthiest person. 2003 each hold an essentially equal share in Walmart. Had he been alive in 2004, Sam Walton would have been the world's wealthiest person. 2002 each hold an essentially equal share in Walmart. Had he been alive in 2004, Sam Walton would have been the world's wealthiest person. 2001 each hold an essentially equal share in Walmart. Had he been alive in 2004, Sam Walton would have been the world's wealthiest person. 2000 Legend statistics. The internet bubble created the most paper wealth for some billionaires. However, once the dot-com bubble burst, the new rich saw the fortunes disappear. Billionaires' fortunes were hit even harder by the global financial crisis. 2009 was the first time in 5 years that the world had a net loss in the number of billionaires. The strong performance of the financial markets and global economic recovery have erased financial assets losses. Most of the richest people on the planet have seen their fortunes, or in the past few years. Source: Forbes.